Feeling down about her thinning hair, Zota told Temba, "Soon I'll never need to go back to the beauty salon. Whenever I vacuum, all I pick up is my hair." "Well then," said Temba, "you won't need to vacuum either." Good evening and welcome to Opportunity Tuesday on Talk with Rams Live. It's been about 6 weeks now. We've been on the journey of emotional intelligence with our resident personal coach, Dr. Thando Sibanda. We completed 3 weeks of self-awareness strategies last week, and tonight we start on self-management strategies. Thank you for choosing to join us on this 30 minutes of the most powerful digital content this side of the equator. And I don't fear when I say something like that. I trust myself. We are live on Facebook and YouTube as Talk with Rams. Please participate by sending questions and comments on those platforms. You can also do so on Twitter at Talk with Rams 1. Good evening, Dr. Thando Sibanda.
Good evening, my brother Rams. How are you doing, sir?
I'm dark and lovely, my brother. How are you?
No, I'm super, man. I'm doing great. I'm excited to be on this show.
Excited too. I'm in that space. But please, before we start, Dr. T, please help me understand. How is it that for the last 3 weeks, we have been inviting our followers to join us in the Super League, but they're insisting on staying on Mvela League? What is wrong with our guys?
well, remember, change is antithetical to the to the human psyche. So
Yes.
you've got to push it for it to happen. So yeah.
It is so unbelievable. I mean, guys, we've been asking you for weeks now to email us so that you can join us in this room. We are taking this to the Super League. Have you heard about the Super League, guys? You guys are staying out of the Super League and you'll be left out. I mean, Dr. T, believe it or not, only one person said, "I'm available." I mean, guys, if Arsenal can join the Super League, you guys can join it too.
No, absolutely. I think our viewers and our listeners are gonna make a move. Sometimes people just say, "Well, I'll do it," and never get around to doing it. So I think tonight would be great, for people to actually engage all of the handles that can enable a registration process.
Yeah, well, we'll do it. But anyway, let's start at the beginning again, Dr. T. Because on this journey of emotional intelligence, we are really talking about sustainable success, aren't we? It is about sustainable success.
Oh yes, absolutely. And the fact that sustainable success is not just a skill, a hard skill. A lot of people know how to do their jobs, Rams, but they still struggle to manage themselves as well as to relate with others. I think so. It's important for us to understand that the study of emotional intelligence is about strengthening ourselves from the inside out. And this is very, very critical because a lot of us don't have challenge with technical things. We have challenge with self-knowledge and self-management. We don't have the intelligence to know ourselves, and therefore manage ourselves. That's why we're doing this.
So again, I always find that there's always somebody new joining us. How would you define emotional intelligence? For a recap, for those who've been following us, but for those who are joining for the first time.
Right. Look, emotional intelligence, by definition, is the ability to manage ourselves and our relationships with others so that we can live out our intentions and reach our goals. It's managing ourselves, that's part one, and then our relational matrix with others, that's the second part of it.
Yeah. When we had done that, when you had spent a full week explaining emotional intelligence. The very next week, you spoke about emotional intelligence action planning. What is it that we were touching on at that time?
Well, the whole point was to say it's important for us to have an action plan. Remember, our mind has got this dual highway. It's the highway of emotions on one side, and on the other side, it is the highway of reasoning. So you've got this juxtaposition or this intertwined highway where on one side it's your emotions that are coming out of your limbic system and all its related types of the brain, but then you also have your reasoning that's coming out of your neocortex. And so one needs to be able to have an action plan in terms of how in ways that then bring advantage to me. And secondly, how then can I know myself better so that I can relate better with others? It's very, very important that we have an action plan when it comes to EQ.
But Dr. T, that's assuming that at my late age, and people will say, but what are you talking about late age? But at my age, Dr. You are assuming that I could change, I could become a different person, that my mind can adjust to a new world.
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely. In fact, science, Rams, totally disproves the notion we have. I don't know if it's an African notion or it's a global notion where we say you cannot teach an old dog new tricks. Well, science will tell you that even an old dog can learn new tricks. I mean, look at that amazing mountaineer who started at 80, all the way died at 101, Halter Crooks, I mean, she went up Mount Whitmore, she went up Mount Fuji. I mean, she was mountain climbing in her 80s and her 90s. Yes, indeed, everybody has got what is called neuroplasticity, where your brain, just like a muscle, when it is used, it can learn new things, it can learn new behaviors. Indeed, Rams, an old dog is very well able to learn new tricks.
I'm encouraged to hear that, Dr. T. And through you, I have learned a few tricks, I must tell you, and I am seeing a different person as I go forward, and that excites me. So we spoke for 3 weeks about self-awareness, Dr. T, but now we're going to self-management. Now I'm aware, and I'm aware of the emotions that come through, and I move towards my emotions, and I'm not controlled by the good or bad moods and stuff like that. But the next EQ is self-management. And I suspect, Dr. T, is going to hurt a lot of our followers tonight. And I include myself, but let's get down to it. What is self-management?
All right. So self-management is the ability, right, is a person's ability to use awareness, or it's my ability or your ability to use awareness of your emotions to actively choose what you say and do. Remember, self-awareness is about intelligence on your emotions, but self-management is actually then moving from intelligence, from knowledge into action. So now you are actively choosing what you are going to say and do, because now you are aware of your emotions. So it's the next step on that, because on the surface, it may seem like self-management is a matter of, take a deep breath and keep yourself in check when emotions come on strong, but hey, it's much deeper than that. It's about understanding the rumblings that are happening under the volcano before the lava starts flowing. Once you understand yourself, then you can better manage yourself.
So are you saying to me, when I have a higher level of self-management, I can get onto this path of success that I want to get into?
Oh, absolutely. Because self-management ultimately builds upon the foundational skill of self-awareness. Remember, you can't arrive at self-management without first knowing yourself.
Yeah.
So
you can't manage what you don't know.
Yeah, you can't manage what you don't know. Absolutely. So self-awareness first, and then self-management. Why? Because we are hardwired to experience emotions before we can respond to them. So it's actually all about knowing, you know what, now I know myself, how then do I manage myself? That is what brings about sustained success.
Wow. So there's a word that you use, Dr. T, or a phrase. You spoke about sizing myself up. And you say, when I've developed the ability to size myself up quickly and grab the reins before my head goes in the wrong direction. I like that, because what it assumes is that we are so easy to go in the wrong direction, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Especially where emotions are involved. You know, how many times have we done stuff that we sit and think, you know what, I could have been a bigger person.
Yeah.
I could have been, I got too excited. I got too carried away.
Yes.
I got to this, I got to that. But when you develop that ability to quickly, grab the reins and bring yourself back, it keeps you flexible. It allows you to choose positively and productively how to respond or react to different situations, and it also ensures that you're not frustrating yourself and frustrating other people to the point where they start to resent you. Sometimes we can sabotage ourselves like that if we don't have a high level of self-management. We keep getting in our own way. That's the challenge, Rams.
Okay, that's a good warm-up. Now let's deep dive, to use your words, Dr. T. Let's deep dive now into this self-management and the strategies that we need to learn. I'm going to be all ears and listen to you, Dr. T. I'll interrupt with a few questions as we go forward.
Okay, all right, lovely. I think first of all, Rams, it is important for us to understand these strategies that I'm going to give. If people can take them down, learn from them, it will definitely make life so much easier. My first point is that it's important as a self-management strategy to create an emotion versus reason list, right? So you may not always realize it, but there are many times when you allow your emotions to sway you in one direction while your rational mind is tugging at you and pointing you the other way. Sometimes your emotion says this, but your rational mind says, nah. Think about this. Your rational mind says, let's go this way, but your emotional mind says, this other way. So a lot of times we've got this internal battle within us, of the brains, which is your emotional brain versus your rational brain. So what you do is that it's important to actually, whenever you feel you are in that space, it's very important to make a list that distinguishes the emotional side of the argument versus the rational one, right? This list, number one, will allow you to clear your mind. Remember, once you've moved something from inside you, Rams, and you are putting that thing externally, you are now able to deal with it. Anything that you are able to hold externally, you can choke. So once you create that list of emotion versus reason, your mind becomes clear. It can now have perspective. It can now have insight into what you need to do and which is the best way forward.
Are you saying I should literally, physically put these things on a page and list them down?
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely. Because the moment you list them down, you have already externalized the process of dealing with something. And because you've externalized it, you create what is called perspective, right? And so you can ask yourself, where are my emotions clouding my judgment in this situation? And where is my reasoning ignoring the important clues from my emotions? So you can say, okay, you know what, I am angry. I always say to people, when your child messes up, don't discipline out of anger. Because Because when you discipline out of anger, you can hurt the child and you can say things that are very negative. Why? Because you are disciplining out of anger. But when you feel the emotion of anger, the reasoning must say, no, let me step back. I will discipline out of principle so that there can be a learning out of it and not out of anger where it's a reactionary outlet for me to feel better. But the person who's being disciplined is not learning anything. So that clarity between emotion and reason, if you can write those feelings down, it will give you so much more control over yourself.
Wow. I can see what you're talking about, and once I've put them down on a list, I will soon remember them. I don't even have to refer to the list anymore. It will become second nature, I suspect.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. And remember, the whole point about this is that concept of, emotional intelligence is the same thing, whether it's the CIA or whichever, or the South African intelligence.
No, we don't have that here.
I know. It's all about intelligence. Intelligence is information. And when you have information, there is nothing you can do. That is why today, whether it's Facebook or robot, whatever it is, people can control you because they know everything about you. They can build you up or they can bring you down because they know everything about you. So emotional intelligence is about mastering the knowledge of yourself so that you can so much easier and so much better, put yourself at an advantage relationally.
Then you say, Dr. T, I must make, Dr. T, you say I must make my goals public.
Yes, but not just public to everyone. So we are not looking forward to Rams going on 702 tomorrow and announcing what he's going to do this year. It's really about making your goals public to your accountability circle. Now, this is very important because a lot of us don't even have an accountability circle, and I'll explain why that is important. Remember, walking your talk is hard, especially when life is throwing you some curveballs, right? Sometimes the biggest letdown are the private ones, where we fail to reach a goal and we fail to actually do what we set out to do, right? There is nothing more powerful, by the way, as a motivator to reach your goals than by sharing them with some people that you trust, some people that are in your close circle. It creates an accountability matrix, right? Because when you tell other people, this is what I'm setting out to accomplish, be it friends, family, a spouse, their awareness of your progress creates an incredible sense of accountability. I remember when I set out to lose weight and tone, I told a couple of people, said, guys, I'm on a program where I am losing weight. So even if I'm tempted, to grab the cups when we're sitting at dinner or at lunch, or I'm tempted to eat as much chocolate as possible, just the fact that I have to be accountable to someone else, and there I can just say, remember, you're on a program, it helps me move ahead with progress. So make your goals public to your accountability circle. Remember, self-management comes down to motivation. And you can use the expectations of the people you've spoken as a powerful force to get you up and to get you moving towards your goals.
In this accountability circle, Dr. T, could it be my son? Could it be my significant other? I mean, how much power should these people have over me? And I mean emotional power, not necessarily, dictatorial power.
No, absolutely. They need to actually, you need to sign off some certain powers of influence to them. Where they can hold you accountable to either reward or even to punish you. I remember there was a professor who said every time he missed writing a deadline, he was going to pay the colleagues in his accountability circle $100. That's like 1,400 rands today.
Yeah.
And needless to say, he never missed a deadline, because he had given them that moral authority to actually enforce that, say, hold me accountable. Anytime I'm late, this is what I'm going to pay. But guess what? If I reach my goals, these are the rewards that that I actually find will be okay for me to have. So it's important, have people that can really speak into your life. Your a spouse is a great one, a coach, a mentor. Share your goals and have those people really hold you accountable. That will really help. It's a very big motivator.
Wow. The next one, Dr. T, is the hardest for most of us. Patience.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. On this strategy in terms of self-management, we say sleep on it. Remember, in that timeless a classic War and Peace, Leo Tolstoy, wrote that the two strongest warriors are time and patience.
Yes.
And the power of these warriors comes from their ability to transform situations, ease pain, and provide clarity. When you actually think of it, Rams, that is what time and patience does. We say to everything, give it time, give it time. Why?
Yes.
Because with time, wounds become scars. Because with time, situations of stress becomes opportunities for perspective. Whenever you give something time, you are giving it that opportunity to actually, heal. You're giving time because emotions are ephemeral. You are giving the emotions time to subside. It's very important because if we always take major decisions when we are emotional, we lack something called perspective. And perspective saves lives, So time will help you to self-manage because it brings clarity and it brings perspective, and it also allows your thoughts to become clarified. I remember Rams, one of my supervisors when I was doing my PhD used to say, never cut down a tree in winter. Don't cut down a tree in winter, because if you think a tree is dead in winter, guess what? It's going to come alive again when the seasons change. So sleep on it. Always sleep on it. Don't take major decisions when you're tired, when you're under stress. Manage yourself. Always give yourself time. Rather say to people, I'll get back to you, than to make commitments on the spot in the emotion of the moment. And then you wake up tomorrow, the emotion is gone, and you wonder, how did I actually make that decision?
But we must wake up and come back to it, isn't it, Dr. T? We can't sleep forever over it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Remember, again, we need to make time decisions timely.
Yes.
So when you wake up, come back to it. Make sure that it is on your list of things that you need to decide on. Very, very important.
Now, Dr. T, now you say the next thing that we need to do is to talk to a skilled self-manager. Now, who's that? Who's that in my life? Who's a skilled self-manager? Where do I find this person and not spend the rest of my savings on them?
Right. There are many skilled self-managers. In fact, in coaching, in neuroscience, we actually call them, we call this process, we call it modeling of excellence, right? So it simply means find someone who is able to manage themselves and does a good job in the areas where you want to grow, and model after them. Talk to them and say, I see you are very good at controlling your emotions. You are very good at controlling your anger. It seems like nothing can get to you. Even when people are trying to get to you, they can't seem to manage. How do you do it? Can you teach me? Can you coach me? You see, the same process, people go to very successful business guys and say, please mentor me in business. People want to be mentored in many different disciplines, but very few people actually ask for help to be mentored emotionally. And say, you know what, Rams, you are good at keeping cool. How do you do it? Can you mentor me? When I'm feeling this way and that way, can you just help me reach a place within myself where I am so much better? So there are a lot of people who are very good self-managers. Some people are good in discipline. How about you say, you know what, can you mentor me in the area of discipline? Can you mentor me in the area of this and that and that? So even our emotional world, there's a lot that we can learn from people who are gifted in this emotional intelligence skill in terms of their self-management.
Wow. I can think of one or two people I can go to going forward. Now, on the weekend, Dr. T, I think at the end of last week, I was driving in Morningside, and next to me stood this vehicle that I like, I must say, and I don't think I'll ever afford it. Audi S8. And I looked at the car, and I then saw the driver. And I'm gonna try and demonstrate how he looked like. It was like this. Now it made me think about the next strategy. Smile and laugh more. I was thinking, this guy is sitting in a very expensive car, but he's got such a bad frown on his face.
I know. Sometimes these big things come with a lot of stress, eh? As nothing, just to rev the engine. It takes a lot of focus. But anyway, did you know, Rams, that when you laugh and smile, your face actually sends signals to your brain that you are happy? It's a chemical reaction, right? Your brain literally responds to the nerves and muscles in your face to determine your emotional state. It's not the other way around. It's not your emotional state that then influences your brain. No, it's actually how your muscles are actually functional, and how they're doing that. Actually says to your brain, I am happy. So what does this mean for self-punishment when we are saying you need to smile and laugh more? See, when you are stuck on a frustrating or distressing thought, right? Forcing yourself to smile actually counteracts that negative emotional state.
Yes.
So if you work in customer service, that's why they'll tell you, put on your happy face. What are they saying? They're saying you may be going through a lot of stuff, but if you can put on your happy face, literally your brain reads you as happy. If it reads you as happy, then you start exuding or giving out that aura of happiness. So you can literally cheat your system into producing a totally different state from what you are feeling. And that is why, even if you are sad, if you can think of yourself in a happy moment, immediately you actually lift up your demeanor.
That takes me back to the self-awareness strategies that we spoke about, that I should know the things that press my buttons, that trigger me. So the same way I know the things that make me unhappy, I must know the things that make me happy. That even in moments of stress, I must think about the things that make me happy so that I put that smile on my face, which sends a message to my brain.
In fact, if a lot of us understood that, there would be no need for someone to take one to feel happy or to go and hold a joint to feel happy. No, you can actually literally change your state without any assistance from any external substance. Why? Because your brain is so powerful that it does not need a chemical enhancement to actually create a new state. It simply looks at what is your inner Ras saying. If your muscles are saying I'm happy, if your face is saying I'm happy, well, we are happy. We are happy people. I remember there was a soccer team, that used to say we are happy people.
Dr. T, I like you. You got a great memory. Yes, the happy people. That's us, Dr. T. Yes.
Did you know, Rams, by the way, did you know that it actually there's a guy, there was a movie done on this guy that started a hospital, and in this hospital, he used to bring these comedians, and he would bring all these guys that would come and tell jokes. Do you know that the rate of patients that got discharged was so much higher? They got discharged without necessarily a lot of medication.
Wow.
Simply because was able to turn their internal states through just comedy and happiness and joy.
Well,
Isn't it amazing?
I know of a doctor who himself was wired that way. They actually made a movie of him called Patch Adams. He was a doctor, and Patch Adams was known for his humor. And they found out that these patients spent less time on the bed than other patients because they healed quicker because he made them laugh.
It is so powerful, especially when you consider the fact that, they say, strokes go up by 35% on Monday mornings. You know, why? Because just the thought of, you know what, I'm going to go to work, it's so stressful. And people, you know, so actually, it's about what you think that determines how you feel. So guess what? If you are able to change your state without even any external substance, you can win. That's a very big part of self-management. Smile and laugh more. We can do with more smiles and more laughs.
On that note of smiling and laughing more, we leave it here, Dr. T. 5 great strategies. We'll do 5 more next week of self-management. So folks, that's just the beginning. It's just a warm-up. Revisit the strategies that Dr. T has given you, work on them, and next week we'll give you 5 more strategies of self-management. Thank you, Dr. Thando Sibanda.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I can't wait for next week, man.
Look, I'm betting not to smile again. I'm gonna keep a smile all my life now because you know I gotta manage myself now. Thank you so much, Dr. T, and we shall certainly come back next week. And again, I'm hoping the guys join us on the Super League, but we are going to the Super League with or without them.
Absolutely. I look forward to the Super League, man. I can't wait. Thank you.
Excellent. Have a great evening further.
Thank you. Same to you, sir.
And you folks, we shall see you in the Super League. Otherwise, we will send you, of course, the videos of the Super League that you can watch them from your Umbrella League in the comfort of your Umbrella League. But it's your choice to join us in the Super League. Write to us, admin@talkwithrams.com. Give us, all we need is your email address and we will invite you to the Super League. You don't need to have billions like the guys in England. From me, Rams Mabote, good night and God bless.